No, I'm busy tonight, actually.
Hey! Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Jerry HotPants Club podcast. Please remember to hit that like and subscribe button. Smash it.
Smash that like button.
Smash the fuck out of it. With me, as always, is the insatiable Chris Creatine.
Hello.
And rounding up Riot Patrol in the back is...
Yusuf, the one and only.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to start on a little topic that's kind of bothering me a little bit. And hopefully Yusuf remembers to do it this time. But there's a picture he's going to put up on the screen. Okay. I received this picture 15 times over the course of an hour from people who claim to be my friends.
They're sending it to you because they love you.
Right. Okay. Tell yourself. So what it is you will see is Jeremy getting ready to take me to places I've never been. That's just going to be the polite way.
Take you down through there.
Yeah.
Pound Town.
And thanks to Paul for giving us a great picture for edit. So shout out to Paul and his octogenarian ass, you old bastard.
Ooh.
So the reason that I bring that up is because we're also going to put up the picture of all the people who sent it to me. Now, the reason I am mentioning this in any way, shape, or form is because the illusion that Jerry is a good man needs to be destroyed. It needs to get out there. That is the whole point of Jerry HotPants, is to expose him.
For his hot pants?
And the fact, not just his hot pants, but and the fact that he is evil.
I don't believe Jerry is an evil man.
Jerry's evil.
It's the nicest ones you got to watch out for.
Exactly.
If Jerry sends you a photoshopped image of you that disturbs you, it's only because you've sent him 20 that day before he sent you that one.
I didn't send him any of himself today.
These are lies.
I might have.
He does that shit in his sleep now.
He wakes up and he's got like
He subconsciously edits photos.
he keeps them like ammunition. Like,
I've
yes.
got 10 ready to go at any time.
see,
Everything that I do is in retribution. I
retribution for the man saving your life like 30 times over.
I mean, it's give and take. You got to pay the piper.
Pay the piper.
Paying
He
him in
knew what he
kind.
was getting into when he said yes to being my mentor.
I don't think he quite knew what he was getting into.
Yes, he did.
He was warned. I don't think he
had the
knew
benefit
the
of knowing
scope.
me for 2 years and saying that he couldn't stand me then, and then he willingly signed on to being the guy. You know, the go-to, the guy. It's 2:30. I'm thinking about butt fucking this goat. Please talk me off the ledge, guy. All right.
What a job to have.
Yeah. But I mean,
goat.
okay, and to his credit, I haven't done anything to any goats since I've been here today. So,
Yeah, hallelujah.
hi, Yusuf. How you doing over there, bud?
I'm good.
How was lunch?
Oh my God, lunch was simply fucking dissatisfactory. It was shit. I fucking hated it. I'll never go back there again. Everything was bland and I want to fucking shit on my dick.
Oh, that's these white people cooking with no salt again.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It is. Okay, so we'll circle back around to that. Hopefully not. We want to talk about the baby food shortage because it's a big thing, right? It is a huge thing in the news today, and it's. You know, I do know people who are personally affected by it. You know, just a few weeks ago, they were driving all the way down to Detroit to try to find formula. And the catalyst for all of this, one of the factors, was the plant in Michigan here that they had to shut down. Okay, can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I was
Sturgis, Allegan, Abbott Lab.
It was Abbott. It was in Sturgis.
So that's near Kalamazoo. They said 2 babies got sick or 4?
Four were diagnosed as had come down with this illness.
Is this a common illness? How can they be sure it's the formula?
On February 17th, Abbott, which is one of the there are two formula producers in America, government created monopolies who control 80% of the formula production and distribution in this country.
That's
It's
weird.
a government monopoly problem? No.
4 infants were hospitalized, 2 of which died. So we got to pump the brakes to make sure that, I mean, the numbers for infected are probably a lot higher and are not going to be reported accurately. You will get inflammatory numbers of saying, a higher percentage in reality, and then you'll get underreported numbers, and you have to make a guess as to the reality of it because that's how the news cycle works. But the FDA has identified no new cases, but has not yet approved reopening of the Sturgis facility, which is responsible for about half of Abbott's U.S. supply. Abbott said it entered into a consent decree with the FDA that paves the way to reopening the facility once certain conditions are met. So, again,
so the FDA saying you guys can't make formula?
Yeah, right now that their facility, that one, is offline. They
They just clean the facility and start.
So that's what they're doing. But through red tape and bureaucracy, they have to keep it closed, and then they have to meet certain guidelines and milestones.
And then the feds are going to do something called Operation Fly Formula, and they're going to import formula from foreign countries, and they don't typically do produce by
2 companies, Abbott and Reckitt Benckiser.
So how exactly do people who live in third world feed their kids?
Titties.
Titties. Oh my God, we don't have titties in America?
Okay, but stop right there because it is bad information to say
titties.
Just breastfeed your kids.
So how do people feed their kids in countries with no Similac and baby food?
Red Cross, maybe they get Similac.
Okay,
so
right.
I mean,
I'm just saying, like there was a time where we didn't have these things.
In a country like this, because we have moved so far away from natural feeding, things like that, and there are women who just can't produce a viable breast milk.
You look like you can produce.
I can. My tits hurt.
Are you lactating right now?
No, that's the problem. They hurt like a bitch and need to be pumped.
Do you need Yusuf to suck on?
Why do you think I'm so
Is it
mad that it
milking
took
time?
Yusuf a fucking hour to get here? Remember?
So this sounds like a bunch of government failure. Like over-regulation, like, okay, like some babies got sick. Okay, clean it and keep going because otherwise babies are going to starve. You're going to kill a bunch of babies.
Well, this goes all the way back to pandemic restrictions and a lessened supply chain.
Yeah, they said they kind of knew that this might happen like a while ago.
And instead of like taking preventative measures and creating some sort of surplus or supply, they has always, throughout history, they have ignored the signs and they allow this to happen because now it creates the means to get on Capitol Hill. Everybody can have a soapbox now, and now we can start rolling in bills to produce more money that goes places that we don't know where it goes. Now, this is where I say that I'm a conservative because I do not believe in big government, and I do not believe in the government saving everyone all the time. I think that you should produce.
Fuck them kids. Let them babies starve.
Right, but in this instance, it is the government's responsibility to help alleviate a situation that they in part created. So it's simple mathematics. If you create a problem, you must seek the solution. And why I mean simple mathematics is you got 5 kids who are sick, you need X amount of fucking formula, so you go find the fucking formula. And that means the whole Canada-Mexico agreement with the United States.
The new one, when they got rid of NAFTA?
Yeah, in 2020.
NAFTA was terrible for America.
Well, the North American Free Trade Agreement?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Regardless, Canada can't ship their baby formula down here. They're sitting on a ton of it. We can't get any.
Shit.
Why?
Because of the agreement. The tariffs that are placed on Canadian baby food are through the fucking roof.
Oh.
So, being that, in a logical world, our neighboring country would say, hey, we heard you need some formula. Here's this. No, profit drives the bottom line here. This is at the end of this, it's not going to be about what was done to save lives or how lives were saved or how they were even endangered in the first place, because this whole thing will be forgotten and it'll be another issue that will come up that will distract us from the fact that, again, we are getting butt fucked by the system.
Isn't baby formula like not really healthy anyways? It's like they always say, like, if you breastfeed your kid, like, they'll be smarter and they'll have, like, less problems and stuff.
That's what I was under the impression.
Aren't you shouldn't we be trying? They're trying to make artificial breast milk now. Gates and Zuckerberg and them, they got like some.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to speak on this topic because I'm out of my wheelhouse on it. Number one, number two, I don't have kids and I never will, thank God. So,
little tiny pecker.
Oh, I love titties. So I mean, imagine.
Did you just fucking roided out piece of shit?
What?
So, now the thing is,
I can't have kids either. No.
Welcome to the bathtub. So, what I'm getting at is that, and the whole argument that breast milk makes kids smarter, I don't know. I know some kids that were on the titty until they were about 5 years old, and they're the ones that I was yelling about in the last episode who can't fucking make change. So
You don't know if those kids were.
Oh, they all three of those
fed?
kids look like they still suck on mama's tits, and they're like 14.
Bro,
maybe not. Maybe I'm not. But again, I this is an issue I've been seeing a lot in the way of, you know, and here we are, three men, you know, who don't carry children to term. So I'm not going to speak on whether or not formula is good versus breast milk. I'm not educated enough.
Breast milk is good.
The finest Cambodian breast milk.
yes, only the finest.
But I'm shutting down the studio.
So I don't know if they used to do this here, but over in Lebanon, what they used to do is if somebody else has breast milk, you guys just usually just go around taking turns breastfeeding each other's babies.
Like a wet nurse, right?
Yeah. Okay, I forgot that there was a term for that. And then you're just known as brothers and sisters in milk.
All right.
That's a term. It's just like, yeah, we breastfed off the same titties. We just went around. It's like
Yeah, it'd be nice to
community titty.
Well, this shows. I mean, it definitely shows. You know,
is it
a
wrong
flaw
to
in the
stare at
system.
somebody breastfeing? Like, you can breastfeed, and I'm not going to shame you.
You
but
can't
it's okay
be
for
like
me to look,
Google
right?
and I staring
Why not?
at.
Yeah, you can't sit there and make.
If you can breastfeed in public, can I look?
What?
Is it in public?
If they're like sitting out on a park bench and you look over and see them, I mean, that's
So
one
can
thing.
I look?
If you just
If
stand
you're-
there with your eyes wide staring at them, I think that's a little weird. Probably.
Yeah,
Why
that's
not?
right.
Because what if you just started?
Ladies and gentlemen at home, I want to go ahead and go on the record and apologize for Yusuf. He's weird.
Why do we watch porn?
Bro,
To get off.
breastfeeding isn't
You like-
porn.
you
It's
like
not
seeing
porn,
boobs?
You fucking idiot. What are you talking
A
about?
boob is a boob,
All
right?
Stop. I invoke the right to make you shut the fuck up right now.
Okay.
So, we have this baby food shortage, right? We have this misunderstanding about what to feed these kids coming from three fucking dudes, so we're going to stop talking about that.
I can talk about what to feed baby. I took care of my baby when my baby was a baby.
Say baby one more time.
I bought the baby a breast pump. She was pumping. I was feeding. She was feeding.
Okay.
I was feeding. I woke up in the middle of the night too.
This is, again, one of them. Hi, buddy. This is one of the moments where I'm glad I don't have children. That
It just looks like the government screwed this one up again. It seems like every time the government, like if you get the government's attention and they're like, oh, we're going to go do this and this and this and this, it's broken like instantly. Like they can't do anything they touch just goes to shit like instantly.
I agree. And so I'm going to go on record as saying this too, right? Like my thoughts and hopes were that as a registered Democrat, that this election in 2020 was going to, we were going to see some things change, you know, and we
saw
didn't.
things change.
Yeah, for the
worse, way worse.
And
Afghanistan, the border, inflation.
The border. We're going to circle back to that next episode. We're going to talk
They're
about the border.
flying in illegal immigrants to random cities. Like they like legalized illegal immigration. And like they're just
We're not
flying
talking
in.
about it.
They're just
We're off topic.
They said to
ladies and gentlemen, we're off topic again.
we can be off topic.
Not in this one. Let's come back to this because we could talk a whole episode about it. Because I don't want to hear American entitlement about fucking immigrants. I'm tired of hearing it.
The entitlement is the illegal immigration.
The entitlement is people who are not indigenous.
No, I'm talking about the money entitlement. The entitlement that they're giving the illegal immigrants is what's causing the illegal immigration.
You're an illegal immigrant.
No, I was born here. I'm American.
No, you're an illegal immigrant.
No, I'm American.
You're an illegal immigrant. Because whatever fucking planet you're from, you didn't get a card from to come here and talk your bullshit. So, end of story. Next, we're going to talk about the housing market. Now, what is it you do for a living, Chris?
I am a realtor.
Okay. Now, one, I have to ask myself, who in their right minds would come to you and say, hey, Muscles, sell me a house?
Anybody who wants to do it the easy way. I'll make it the easiest you've ever had. You want to sell? You want to buy? I'm your guy. Super easy. No bullshit. We get right to the point. Honest, truthful. We'll get it done. Quick. Cheap.
Yeah, so there was a dead hooker. Possible. There was a dead hooker in the basement. And, Grandpa was sawing off doll heads upstairs. But, I mean, it's cheap and it's on the market. And really, in this market, a house like that would sell, right? Like, if you took the most adamant person who 2 years ago would say, I just will not buy this house because there's so much bad energy in here. And now they'll take a house where it was like fucking murder house, right? Because you can't get a house right now, am I right?
Yeah, you can't get a house. That's a problem. Supply is way down.
Because so everybody has bought up, because it's been a seller's market for a while now, correct?
Yeah, for like 18 months.
All right. And now is it normal to see it for that long?
I mean, no. This is a historic market. It's the best seller's market ever. Ever. In the history of the country, it's the best seller's market.
And what led to these conditions?
Government. The pandemic and the government shutting everything down and scaring everybody into staying in their house. And everybody was like, oh, I might lose my job. People who were going to sell were like, well, I don't know what's going to happen, so I should probably just stay put this year. Right. And you saw a lot of remodels. Like, they were like, well, we'll just add on like a bedroom or something. And then wood got super expensive, like crazy expensive. And that didn't help at all. And then it was hard to get other appliances and other materials too. So what happened is the number of houses for sale on the market is at a historic low. So with supply being way down, demand's way up, then you get prices going way up. And the problem is that the government won't foreclose. So the government wouldn't let foreclosures and evictions happen during the pandemic. And with them not foreclosing, the number of houses on the market could be, it's been around like 1 million houses, and it could be like 1.5 or 2 or something like that. And just the supply is just so low that there's nothing to do. So the government needs to let foreclosures happen, and they need to get them on the market.
And so, as somebody, how long have you been a realtor for?
3 years.
Okay, and in that time, so 3 years is long enough for you to go back before the pandemic, right?
Yep.
At that time, how many houses were available pre-pandemic?
I don't know.
Would you say?
I'm not sure.
On an average.
I'm not sure.
Well, how many of the houses that you were engaged in selling were foreclosures?
Oh, my firm specializes in foreclosures, so we deal with foreclosures a lot in this side of the state.
Okay.
We're federal contractors.
Oh, federal.
Yep, contractors.
Boy, he's really barking at something.
I know, something's out there.
In this neighborhood, too, I'd be scared.
It's just someone walking by.
Yeah, or slinking by.
Helix!
So, let's say, given the condition of the house that I live in, right? You saw the conditions when I moved into it. What do you think a house like that would fetch on the market today?
I'd buy that for $1. I'm done.
It should be worth...
We can mute his mic from here, right?
Yeah. It should be worth 60 to 65, but it's probably worth over 80 right now.
So you really put the value, with all the work that needs to be done to that house.
Yeah. With the work, I mean, you can't get anything, dude. It's crazy. With the work, Yeah, it should go for 60, 65, but it should be probably up around 80. There's nothing to buy. It's crazy.
So let's say
it's got a new roof.
It's got a new roof. It's got new windows, blown-in insulation, newer furnace. It needs some work, top to bottom. I mean, it needs new sidings, new floors, drywall. I mean, it needs a complete remodel on the inside. It's got plumbing that's super old, and so you're with materials and labor, you're looking at probably another $30,000 to sink into the joint. Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
Know. It's tough, I know.
So, and the reason that I'm even mentioning any of this is, let's say on the income that we have coming into the house, would you suggest sell the house as is for that amount? And then, because here's the point, right? Mm-hmm. It's two people in a 5-bedroom home. Mm-hmm. So we're paying higher utilities. Mm-hmm. We're paying higher property tax, based specifically on sentimental notion at this point, really. Mm-hmm. So sell the house, right? Where are we going to go?
It's hard right now because you got to find. You're going to be homeless for a little bit, or you're going to have to rent. You're going to have to rent.
Yeah.
Or you got. Usually, there's a way where if you sell, you can buy at the same time, and you can not be homeless, or at least know you're not going to be homeless for very long.
Right.
But right now, you kind of got to either take on 2 mortgages or be homeless. A lot of people are selling early and just retiring, or selling early and renting because the value of their home nationally, nationally, the average is up 10%, but that's national average. So some places you could be up 30%. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a house, kitty corner from my dad's, and on the other side of it, I should say. And that house, they're asking $109,000 for it. Mm-hmm. I mean, no upstairs, crawl space. Mm-hmm. 2 bedrooms, two small bedrooms, open living room.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's, I mean, and they just put a lot of work into it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I mean, at best, you're talking about maybe a $75,000 house.
Yeah. Prices are crazy. I know some of the stuff I've seen in the area that I thought was worth 80 is getting listed at 130, and I'm like,
Jesus.
The inside's nice and everything, but the price, and the thing is they won't appraise at the value, so that they're getting listed high, and then you're getting in bidding wars, and they won't appraise for this value, so the buyers have to make up the difference. Typically, you got to put your down payment down plus closing costs plus the difference in what it doesn't appraise for. You'll have to make up that difference usually too, and so you got to have, if you need cash to be able to buy right now. If you're an FHA loan with 3% down, 3.5% down, you can't go over. You get outbid. You'll lose. There's nothing I can do for you. VA too. VA you can't go over. So the VA actually somebody was trying to get it so that when you get a VA loan, you can actually go 5% over appraised value. So the VA guys would actually have a chance in this market to maybe get a house, but 5% over isn't winning many houses right now. I'm seeing anywhere from 8 to 20% over list price to win a house. I've seen more than that. I mean, I've seen $50,000 over on a $250,000 house. I've seen I've seen $30,000 over. I mean, and they're losing. They're losing going that high. They're losing. It's crazy. You got to be we'll go 50,000 over with no inspection. It's crazy. And then they're doing buyer love letters, and they're Googling, finding out who owns the house, and sending gifts to them and stuff. Yeah, the realtors can't do any of that, but I mean, you can't stop your client from doing their own research and stuff.
So how much of this stems from? I mean, obviously, pandemic, inflation values, just the overall market over the last 3 years. But how much of this sort of stems from 2008?
Well, the market was recovered from 2008.
I know. What were the conditions of Reaganomics and trickle down economics led to the 2008 collapse? The thought of
outright fraud led to the 2008 collapse.
Well, yeah, but Reaganomics was the starting point, because what happens is
your hair looks good.
He's not talking to Yusef either, so. Right? He's not talking to you, Seth? Okay. So Reaganomics is what started it in the sense that we're gonna give the rich tax breaks, okay? And because they have more money to throw around, it's going to trickle down to the middle and lower class, okay? And that just didn't happen. And I think that fraud you talk about, outright fraud, it grew from that. Would you say?
I don't know. No. I think outright fraud happened in 2008. So what happened in 2008 was they made a shit ton of bad loans, but the worst loans, the best example is called liar loans. So liar loans were loans where you didn't have to show identification. You just told them your name and wrote down how much you made. You didn't have to show social security card, nothing. They just took your word for it, right? And you paid a higher interest rate because of that. Right. So why would you pay a higher interest rate on a loan when you could show your identification, prove your income, and get a good rate? Well, the only reason you would lie and get the higher rate is because you are lying. Yeah. So all these loans went bad. So they took all these loans and put them in a mortgage-backed and they all went bad. Like sometimes the number of mortgages that go bad is, small percentage. But when you have a group of loans where they all go bad, that's outright fraud. I mean, people got to go to jail for that. Like, you can't do that, and nobody went to jail for it. And there was a number of things. Lehman Brothers actually finally just finished their bankruptcy, like, this week. So Lehman Brothers was the initial, like, straw that broke, the floodgates came crashing down. And they finally finished their bankruptcy this week. I just read that, which is interesting to think that something from 2008 is still going on.
That was 14 years ago.
Yeah, and the other thing in 2008 is what was going to happen is people weren't going to be able to get monies out of the ATMs within a couple of days, is what it looked like was going to happen. So they didn't know what to do. They were freaking out. And if people went to their ATMs and couldn't pull out money, if you want to talk about freaking out, that would have been crazy. And and then they printed trillions of dollars and they gave it to the banks and everything. And I don't know. I think that more than anything, it was just greed and corruption. And, somebody gets rich when somebody gets poor, typically. Okay, yeah, I saw. If you want to blame Reagan for 2008, buddy, you can try.
I'm going to blame Reagan because there's a lot of things that went wrong with the country under Reagan, and
who was his vice president?
George Herbert Walker,
who started the fucking death cult I keep talking about. Big Bush. Big Bush was the start of the death cult. He sold us out to the to the World Trade Organization. He brought China in. He sold out America. He was in cahoots with Russia. Clinton was in cahoots with Russia. Bush, Clinton are like the same. They're the same
that's why
clique.
They went on book tours after their presidency.
And that's why they smuggle cocaine in the country together. Like it's part of the death cult. So they sold us out, and then you would have had foreign governments buying up and taking out bad loans and buying up government or buying up American land with that stuff. It's been a shit show since 1945, man. It's been a shit show. We're losing a war that we don't know we're fighting.
Speaking of wars that we don't know we're losing, but we keep fucking fighting anyway. And I'm glad that you give the best segues in the business, man. I got to tell you.
You know what you get the best of?
Yeah. What?
Nothing.
Please regale me, you fucking chimp.
Back rubs.
No, not the dudes. God, I hope you go bald.
The massages? The massages? Yeah?
Dick massages. What are you guys talking about? I'm talking about dick massages. Oh, you meant his back?
No, don't.
Am I still there? Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I go away for a while, but I come back. Thank you. Mother effort.
So, we've talked about the drug war on this show before.
Yes.
Okay. I'm talking about it from a different perspective. We know that the drug war was lost before they
seems to be still getting worse.
Before they even fired the first ceremonial round, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay, we knew it was a losing battle from the jump. I want to talk about it from the perspective of somebody who, believe it or not, people like myself are the ones who are on the front lines. Okay, I'm an addict. I'm affected by the drug war because I came up in the 80s. We had DARE classes, which, famously did not work.
Famously made kids curious.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
if I would have never came to the States, I would have never did drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't.
How wild is that?
Yeah.
You sure they don't have heroin in Lebanon?
I don't know, but I mean, fuck it. Another universe, maybe I would have found a way, I guess. Look, heroin? Where? Find it.
Autobots. So the thing is,
Afghanistan is next door.
The thing is, since the start of the pandemic, right? Because at the beginning of the pandemic, people in recovery rely, and maybe sometimes too heavily, but nonetheless they rely on a sense of community, right? No matter what your pathway to recovery is, a lot of it involves peer support, meetings, and those were taken away from us for the greater health concern. Whatever. I'm not going to argue about what is, what isn't, but what I'm saying is we didn't have meetings. Now, fast forward to today. And the landscape of the recovery community is vastly different. It is vastly different. We talked last episode about like participation trophies, right? We're talking about even if you don't win, we're still going to give you this blue ribbon, okay? Now, there's a whole lot in the sense of what I was told when I first got here was sit down, shut the fuck up. Because my talking is what got me into trouble. My talking is what created resentments and all kinds of other issues that I felt I needed to get high over. Okay, so instead of thinking I knew everything, I needed to sit down and listen. Okay, and the landscape of recovery has changed to where we're just going to coddle the fuck out of people because we don't want to see anyone else go. And through that, lots of people have died the last year. A lot of them. And somebody I know this past week passed away. They never made it into recovery, but I'd known this person for a very long time, and their family had talked with me about, maybe being able to help him. And what I've said always was, if he's not willing to get help, there's nothing I can do for him. I didn't want to get clean when I got clean. Like, the law stepped in and said, every time you do dope, you end up going to jail. Maybe try something different. And, here I am all this time later, and the only thing that's different is, on some days is I'm just not getting high. The war continues going on day in, day out. Where I work, I see it.
Yeah.
When I pull up to McDonald's, I see it.
Yeah.
When I go to fucking Meijer, I see it.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
That's the war I'm talking about, man. You can see it when you look at the drug war. That's just a piece of the overall cold fourth generational war that we're losing. But the drug war makes it very obvious how they didn't do shit to stop that fentanyl during, when have they done anything to stop the fentanyl? They've done nothing. They just let it happen.
And it's continuing to happen at an alarming rate.
Yeah. It's crazy. And then they got the car fentanyl and they got it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
That's for your car, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's for elephants.
Car.
Oh. Dang, so elephants getting fucked up too? Okay. Okay, I'll shut up.
Thank you. So,
the tent cities.
You keep talking about the tent cities. Tent cities have been a thing since I was a kid.
Right, but they're growing. They just go on for miles out in California and the West, in Portland and shit. They just go on and on.
Maybe they like the aesthetics of it.
Yeah. Fuck it. Let's not live. Why not live in a tent and smoke crack and bang people? That sounds fun compared to listening to you guys rant some days.
Bro, let's go to Portland. That's like what you moved to Portland for, is to live in a tent and shoot heroin. And
they call that like 60s free love or whatever. Free
See,
love,
what
baby.
scares me, right, is that the amount of there's public outcry always from people who want to punish addicts instead of help them. They don't want to treat addiction; they just want to punish it. There's always people who want to ignore it. You know, the typical American family with the white picket fence and the 2-car garage.
They don't know what to do when someone's an addict in their family.
Yeah, they don't. So they throw money at it.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, well, he's overworked at school or his job, so we're going to just pay him to sit at home. That will fix the problem. Or here, if we give him this medication or that medication, a lot of addicts are duals. They have mental health diagnosis, so they should seek professional help. But America has Google, so we can Google our symptoms and diagnose ourselves, and then go holistic and decide that we're going to take fucking this root and this leaf, and it's going to give us the desired chemical effect to make our brains work better. Just like people who go on to medically assisted treatment of any kind, and when they come off, they have those doubts and fears of like, I don't think I can function properly without this, because it's better living through chemistry. Now, some people with medical or with mental illness or issues, they need to be medicated. And I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to say, well, you should stop. And I'll never say that. But, like with what Purdue did, they created a fucking pandemic all by themselves. Not pandemic, but they did create a fucking...
They did.
They created a public health issue. And in doing so, they now sell the cure. Like, nobody's in jail over that gig. Nobody. Wholesale lies. Through and through. Like, there was that guy who kept pushing that fentanyl sucker or lollipop or whatever, right? There was a guy for...
Did you ever see the intervention with the girl that ate those?
Mm-mm.
Oh, dude. I think
a fentanyl sucker?
Yeah. She would like spin it super fast and eat it like as fast as she could.
How would you even lick it and not die?
You could, I don't know.
Fentanyl sucker.
Was that
I
think it might have been the same girl that was
concentrated fentanyl, but it was the point I'm getting at is that you have this war on class, you have this war on society, you have this war on fucking addicts, you have this war on all of the American culture and society. Mm-hmm. All right? So there is still racism, there is still bigotry, there is still sexism, there is still misogynistic idiots out there. There are all of these things, okay? And then there are the people on the other side of those people, okay, who are sitting here screaming. Really?
What?
Oh,
I didn't say nothing.
No, my bad. I love him so much.
I love titties!
You're going to hell. And again, if you talk out of turn one more time, I'm going to throw you over my knee and spank you.
I would pay to see that.
Can we do it on camera?
Yeah, chase them.
The other people the people who are not those things, right? They are fighting so hard to get equality, to get equal rights for all, right? And they trip over themselves and they get sidelined and distracted by all these alternate issues that are of no relevance, and so nothing gets done. So what we have is a confused American populace who says the weird fucking shit that you do.
Yeah, they're being manipulated by foreign propaganda. So America isn't a racist country. The Russian government is racist. The Chinese government is racist. You see any black people in the Chinese government? No. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people,
they a thing where they don't even
let you have, they like outlawed rap in China.
I saw a thing where
you can't have rappers on TV in China, bro.
There was the Star Wars poster when they were getting ready to release Star Wars. You know, where the what's it, Finn? Yeah, they had to take Finn out. Isn't that who it is, Finn?
Yeah.
Because he's black?
Yeah, so the Democratic Party just pushes foreign propaganda to the people. And the Democratic Party's been racist since its inception. The country's not racist. The country's not sexist. The country's not any of these things. The foreign governments are, and they want us to believe they are. And then what they want is they want the working class to fight the poor in our country. And they try to do a really good job. So they have cops, and then they have drug addicts, and they try to just make it about race, and they try to make it about all these things that isn't the case. They don't have any good way of, when you look at the situation, they don't have any good way of justifying what they're doing. But you just have to look at the whole situation and say, you know what? It's you guys that have been doing this to America for years. They've been over-criminalizing pot. They've been over-criminalizing all these things. And then they keep trying, they make money off of it.
I will say that the Democratic Party was the party that did fight to keep slavery during the Civil War. In the 60s, it switched with the Civil Rights Movement.
They were the party of KKK. Did switch. They were they had slaves, and then they were KKK.
Yeah, and then Johnson, a Democrat, pushed through civil rights.
Right, but Johnson also was racist, didn't want to do it, and did it, claiming, if you read what he said, he used the N-word and said that he would have black people voting for the Democratic Party forever. Also, people like Farrakhan and other quote-unquote black leaders will go on to say that the civil rights movement made black America worse off. It created a matriarchy and then destroyed the strong black father, which is what's wrong. The thing that's wrong with the country is what they're doing to black men by trying to destroy the nuclear family and black fathers. That's what's wrong with the country, is we need black fathers. Black guys are great fathers. Everyone I know is a really cool, you know what I mean? Like everybody. And they do a really good job. But when you let the government, push out social programs to mothers only and then lock up the fathers, you get a broken society. It's a scam. And it's part of the death cult. It's part of the fucking death cult. Look, they're trying to lock up fathers and have the children throw away their lives in the streets, and it's a scam. They're pushing drugs, and they're telling you, they're listening to cartel music and telling you to sell dope, and then telling you to do all this stuff, and they're breaking up nuclear families.
Yeah, and they got The Wire on TV too.
That too. So what did we resolve today? Anything? I don't think so.
I'm right again.
You're not. No,
you have no idea what you're talking about.
Before you got here, I do. But arguing with you is futile because you don't ever allow anyone to offer any opinion other than your own.
You don't have any facts.
You don't have any facts.
I do have facts.
What are your facts?
What? They're breaking up the nuclear families. They've been didn't you see black people rioting in the streets all last year talking about the cops are killing unarmed black guys? Black people are mad. They're talking about
because they are.
systematic racism. The systematic racism is the Democratic Party. That's the systematic racism. That's it. That's the American wing of the Communist Party destroying America. And they're trying to do it by destroying black fathers mostly. That's what's wrong with America. The Democratic Party's been killing black guys for generations.
I don't have to argue with you.
You don't have to. You can look it up. They had slaves and then they had the KKK. That's what they do, is they kill black guys.
I don't have to argue with you because you were going to stroke out on all your supplements getting angry over there. Settle down.
What was in that coffee, man?
Yeah, no shit. He's more amped up than he's ever been on the show. He's fucking, I can see the veins just throbbing.
Oh yeah, you want to go? You want to go get a pump?
Yeah. We're gonna solve that baby food shortage right here.
Oh, it's not.
Creatine craves comes through, saves the day. So we resolved that somewhere Chris gets facts that make no sense to me, but I'm not gonna argue them. I am just gonna sit here and go, okay, Chris, whatever. And I will let you rest on your laurels and go to bed and feel good about yourself.
MLK was a Republican.
Yes, he was. Was he?
Yeah.
You guys, did you guys even follow like politics or anything before this whole situation in 2020 began?
Yeah, the first time I really started following politics was around 9/11.
Yep. That's,
Yeah. But
anti-Bush, very anti-Bush after that. I voted for him in 2000. I did. Because he was the guy. I did not vote for Gore. And again, registered Democrat, I voted for Bush because I believed at the time.
Bro, how old are you?
41.
God damn, you're old as fuck. Anyway, going back to it, I didn't know shit about government until the whole situation started. That's when I began to like pay attention to what's on the news and what's going on. And
well, the news is never going to give you a factual basis for what's
100%.
really going
No,
on.
the news is in cahoots with the Democratic Party. They all get this.
Oh, for fuck's
They
sake.
get this thing called 4 a.m. talking points. So at 4 a.m. every day, the Democrat leaders and the news leaders get these things called 4 a.m. talking points. So they'll all talk about the same buzzwords the next day. You'll hear it when there's a new buzzword like in the media and it's on every channel and the Democrats start bringing it up in D.C. It's because on the piece of paper that's got the talking points, that's what they're all supposed to talk about. In Twitter's, there's a hotline to Twitter where they call to tell who they need to get banned. Like that's all that also came out. They're all in cahoots together to try to take over the country, but they just want power, and they get rewarded when they hurt America via financial incentives or by looking good in the media. That's what they do.
So again, we come back to okay. Yusuf, what are your words of wisdom today?
God damn. Lord have mercy, you guys. You know what they say. You build 1,000 bridges, you're a bridge builder. You get fucked by one dolphin, you're a fucking dolphin victim. So what I want to say, you guys, is just make sure to boycott SeaWorld, you guys. You guys, there's just there's a rap sheet the size of, I can't even begin to describe what, of rapist dolphins that live at SeaWorld.
I'm for getting rid of SeaWorld. SeaWorld's kind of fucked up. Putting that big whale in that little tiny tank.
Am I back on? Oh, I'm back on.
You gotta learn how to use that thing. You're closer to those buttons.
You guys are not nice.
Every time you open your mouth, Yusuf, that's what I hear.
I never complain about anything. I just don't like those cocksuckers. Bro, you can tell they're from like another planet. Dolphins.
All right, it's 5:30.
Okay, so we've got stuff to do, things to get done, places to go, people to fuck over. So, for my esteemed colleague,
I'm Chris.
and that goofy fucker back there,
Yusuf, you're the magnificent.
I wish you all a happy... What day is this coming out?
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Woodridge's Day, yes.
Oh, today's Armed Forces Day. Happy Armed Forces Day, everyone.
Yes, yes.
Thank you,
for your
military.
service. Which we're filming this Saturday. Okay, I'm going to go pump some breast milk.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
No, I'm busy tonight, actually.